I can't really say where I got the idea, but I got the idea at some point to begin to look at Victorian hymns for children. My research began as a graduate student where I was researching the use of music in fiction by Charles Dickens, Thomas Hardy, and Elizabeth Gaskell. I got the idea at some point to begin to look at Victorian hymns for children. I had done a chapter of my dissertation on hymnody in the Victorian period, so I knew enough about hymnody to know that there were a lot of hymns written for children, and this was a way to pull in my background and experience with children's literature. I crafted a proposal and it was accepted not only for sabbatical work, but I also was grateful to receive an Exploration Travel Fund grant from Indiana University Bloomington to fund a little bit of that research. I had plans to visit Cambridge and Oxford, and I also headed north to Manchester, which had a very good hymn collection. I actually began my research at the Royal College of Music, which had a very fine collection of music books, and the librarian thought that they would have a few children's hymn books. I got there and they did have a few hymn books, but after insisting politely that maybe he check in some of those areas that were not cataloged, he actually found like 20 wonderful original children's hymn books from beginning from the 1820s up through the 1890s, and it began a very rich collection to look at. And the advantage of this was that there was actually music in these books. This was a college library of music, and so they were collecting books that had music in them. I came back with a wonderful wealth of information about children's hymnody, convincing myself that yes, there were a lot of hymn books that were published for children, and many of them are still around. Eventually, I hope to bring the various articles I'm writing together in a book, and I'm applying for a National Endowment for the Humanities grant to return to England next summer for continued research. But I'm also enjoying presenting my findings to the Richmond community. I have presented to the faculty at IU East and integrated the topic into my children's literature and Victorian literature classes.